There's always a real edge about this M4 derby. These two clubs separated by just 43 miles of that motorway. They're both in the bottom three. They are both absolutely desperate for a win, as you will have gathered from the build-up to the match here. There'll be a lot of tension down there. I went and saw Swindon train the other day. There was a buoyant mood, I have to say, about them for a side who are bottom of the table. But it's one thing looking buoyant in training, Tony Gale, and another thing out on the pitch.
Certainly is, but hopefully for Swindon fans and Iffy Onuora as well, they can get a win under their belt. I just said they've had some good draws against some youthful sides, but they do need that elusive win to get up and running.
Bristol City have lost their last 5 matches, and expectations were so high this season. Good atmosphere around the county ground for this one. Will this be a turning point for one of these two sides? Let's check the two sides for you. And a major boost for Swindon, who have top scorer Rory Fallon back after injury and suspension. There are 4 other changes, bringing in teenager Michael Pook, the speedy hammer Buatsa in attack, the fit again Jack Smith in defence, and interestingly Neil McDermott, 20-year-old son of Liverpool European Cup winner Terry McDermott. Shakes drops to the bench and Stroud is injured. As for Bristol City, after those defeats, Gary Johnson has wielded the axe. Keeper Steve Phillips is dropped after a 3.5-year run of 155 successive games. In his place comes the Brazilian Adriano Basso, who'll be making his league debut. Mark Joseph, signed on low from Hull yesterday, goes straight into the defence, and Alex Russell is making his league debut for City in midfield. There are recalls for the on-loan Charlton youngster Sankofa at the back and Scott Brown in midfield. Carey's injured, Skuse is suspended, Wilkshire is away in a World Cup playoff with Australia.
Well, Swindon and Iffy Onuora line up with a 4-4-2 really, but it's Gurney who's going to be sitting in front of that back four, just separating those midfield three from the strikers. But it's important tonight that they do go for their win. So Gurney sitting in there will allow McDermott, Miglioranzi and Pook to support Fallon, and obviously Buatsa up front, who's going to be feeding off a lot of Fallon's flick-ons. Well, Gary Johnson's Bristol City, a 4-3-3 system. New faces in the back four means they have to strike up that understanding and strike it up very, very quickly indeed. 3 tight in midfield, or Russell and Brown, and Cottle and Murray on the wide sides will be expected to support the striker Brooker at all opportunities and drift infield as well.
Well, it's been a windy, rainy day in the West Country, and what a night for this Brazilian goalkeeper. He is 30, he played in the conference last year with Woking, and he was on trial at Arsenal. There were work permit problems. Apparently Arsene Wenger was quite interested in signing him. He's shown up well in training and gets the vote tonight ahead of the man who's occupied the Bristol City #1 slot since goodness knows when, Steve Phillips. Rory Fallon, who's missed the last couple of matches, 8 goals this season in a struggling side, is a pretty good return, and they'll want more from him tonight. Swindon, they will not thank me for reminding them, have not won in 11 league matches. They did win in the LDV Vans Trophy against Stevenage recently. Andy Hall is the referee, and Bristol City haven't won the last 11 times he's officiated. Whisper that one around the Bristol City dressing room. I didn't dare earlier on.
And nor did I, Darky. Thank goodness you didn't.
Pitch is in great condition. And Swindon, who have had some useful results despite being bottom, they've drawn with 3 sides in the top 6 recently, including away from home at Brentford and Huddersfield. And in their traditional red, they get us underway. Nicholas with a header down the line. There is a lot of wind, which might make things a little difficult for the players.
Swirling wind, soft pitch, local derby. I think it adds up to a good game. I've got to be honest with that, and I say Basso, there he is in goal. He must be nervous. No matter how good a goalie you are, you're coming in for a keeper like Phillips. He must have his fair share of nerves out there.
At least he gets a touch before he has a shot to save. That's Sankofa playing it forward for Cottrell, this exciting 17-year-old who's already got a cap for Wales. Laid into the danger zone towards Brooker, a prolific striker at this kind of level.
That's a good early sign for Bristol City. If he's getting balls into the feet of Brooker inside that penalty area, that's a good sign. Get the balls fed in, and then the midfield players can make the runs off of it.
Scott Brown to take this corner on the left-hand side for Bristol City. Driven across, still not cleared. It's fallen to Cottrell on this side. And they're going to get the corner kick. Early pressure here from Bristol City, who feel they have to stop the rot tonight. Brown again to take it. Doesn't find anyone in a gold shirt. Bristol City having to change strip tonight. Both sides, of course, normally wear red, as most of you will know. Cottrell brought down by Andy Gurney. It's Cottrell again. Murray towards that back post, and they're playing a handball, and they're getting a penalty kick as well. It's O'Hanlon, I believe, who handled it. And they're going to get a penalty kick here, Bristol City, early on.
Well, that's a guilty look already. Look, O'Hanlon had his back to the ball, and there he thinks the challenger's coming in, leading up with the arm. The referee's got no option. That's a clear handball, and that's a poor error right at the start of the game from Sean O'Hanlon.
Nothing goes for you when you're bottom of the table. Scott Murray's going to take it. Up against the teenage goalkeeper, Colin Heaton. And he saved it! What a save from the young keeper on loan from Manchester United, Colin Heaton.
Well, it's a great
And he's going to retake it. I think it's going to be retaken. There's a real row about this. We had this, didn't we, with West Bromwich Albion recently up at Bolton. Was there encroachment?
Well, you can see he comes up to take it, Scott Murray, encroachment. As he comes up, that's not too bad for me. That isn't too bad. There is encroachment, but that's very, very harsh.
Unless he was saying that the goalkeeper had come off his line by the time it was taken. That's a possibility. Murray gets another chance, and this time he makes it count. He kept his nerve well. That wasn't easy for Scott Murray to do that, having had one saved, and Bristol City are 1 up in the 4th minute.
Well, it's a good finish in the end from Scott Murray. It must have been because he was off his line, because he consulted the linesman on this near side, and the linesman was the one who looked like he made the decision from the first pen. But the second penalty is driven home, and if anything, that's closer to Heaton, but he struck much more firmer and is past him before he can actually move. But that's unfortunate for Heaton. How many times do you see a keeper save and get away with it? But he didn't get away with it, and they're made to pay, Swindon.
Well, they'd hardly had a touch of the ball, Swindon, and they're already 1 down. What a blow for manager Iffy Onuora, and the Swindon fans incensed. There is no doubt about the justice of the award of the penalty, that there will be a bit of controversy about it having to be retaken, but Heaton did appear to have come off his line. But as you say, Tony, usually you get away with it.
It's such a contentious issue, isn't it? Encroachment, goalkeepers moving, some do, some don't. I mean, that's harsh on Heaton.
Well, an electric start here, especially by Bristol City, it should be said. Miscontrolled by Buatsa. This is Sankofa, pretty highly regarded at Charlton, and getting some experience on loan with Bristol City. And what is a frenetic atmosphere here in Wiltshire so far, I've got to tell you.
Quite frankly, the decision hasn't helped it either. You know, local derby, and you make a decision like that, goes against the home side. A little bit unfortunate. go, it's got the crowd going, certainly.
It's come off the head of Partridge, the Welsh international. He was just doing a bit of climbing, I fancy, and Swindon have a free kick.
Sometimes you get a feeling that they're going to get a few free kicks in the next 5 minutes or so. After a decision like that's gone against them. I'm not saying he's here trying to even it up, but well, he's a man under pressure already, the referee, Andy Hall.
Driven hard and low and pretty far wide in the end.
That wasn't the best of strikes from Gurney. You can see the players really trying to drive the ball in this window. It's very gusty down there. Nice slippery conditions as well. Some tackles wiring in. Well, not a bad decision. I mean, it's a decision that can go either way. And to be fair to Andy Hall, it's got to be the decision of the linesman who's looking along the line, and he's the one who's flagged it up, and he has to go with his linesman, Andy Hall. But for me, I think that's a bit harsh.
So Mike Malarkey, who gave that decision. There's Iffy Onuora in his first job as a manager, having been the youth development officer here, and he could have done without that, frankly, early on. I remember there being a crackdown on goalkeepers coming off their line. Carlo Cudicini a couple of seasons ago, but then we seem to be forgotten, didn't it? Completely.
It does. I mean, there was a brilliant instance, Edwin van der Sar, Fulham against West Bromwich Albion last season when he really came off of his line, but it depends on the referee, and quite honestly.
But can Swindon bite back? Is Fallon trying to make something of it? Bristol City have got the worst defence in League One. Can they hold out here? Fallon trying to get in behind here. I think this is going to be a mad scramble for the points down here in the West Country tonight. A charged up atmosphere, and even more charged up after that early goal. Just what Gary Johnson wanted. He's demanded more pride, passion and a higher tempo from his team in matches.
Well, they had started well here, and they had a couple of corners, didn't they, and started very well.
Nearly far for Vuatsa, and they're claiming, Swindon, that the Brazilian goalkeeper, Basso, handled that outside the box.
He's very, very close, but I think you can see that's inside, no problem.
Bound to be a few butterflies. He's not a spring chicken, he's 30 years old, Adriano Basso, so it's a belated league debut for the Brazilian. Muscular challenge. This is Yuga again, another player on loan from Charlton. Decent looking ball in from him as well, and Murray got his head to it too.
That's what he's going to have to do. He's starting in a wide position, but they've both got to join the forwards. Cotterill and Murray on the wide sides, but it looks like in winning that header, oh yeah, it's a nasty gash just above his eye there.
I was going to say the ball wasn't all he got his head to, was it?
There you can see it's the little man getting up across the big defenders. And it's O'Hanlon again who gave away the penalty. This time he's in the collision of heads with Scott Murray, and that's a painful one.
Scott Murray is a player who scored 26 goals in a season 3 seasons ago from his usual right wing berth. A different role for him here, playing on the left, but told to give as much support as possible to the strikers. I know Gary Johnson has said to him, I want more end product from you.
And it was he who got that cross in as well, Ian, for the goal. And he popped up on this right-hand side, so that means he's not tied down to that left side position. He has got to join the main striker, Brooker. Cotterill and him. I think Cotterill will stay more on this right-hand side, but Murray does like to roam, does like to get involved in the play. And as you just said, he has got an eye for a goal.
This is Hanlon, who's been very consistent for Swindon Town. This is Eiffel. Easily cut out. Bristol City using a slightly different system. Pook trying to find a way through here for them. And Bristol City have conceded a free kick in a dangerous-looking area.
Well, it's a great area. It's just off central, slightly to the right of the goal. Quick free kick.
Taken quickly, and a goal! Swindon Town are level in the blink of an eye. And it's Neil McDermott, the son of Terry McDermott, who has scored the first goal of his senior career.
Well, that's brilliant. That's so quick thinking at a free kick, and Neil McDermott switches on. They'll just touch to the side, get it down, playing. Must have asked the referee if they can play. That's a great finish. Basso's got no chance. It's right across him in the far corner. Super finish from Neil McDermott. And that penalty may be forgotten, but the referee did say they're not backing off. You can play on. They had every right to. Great quick thinking and a super take.
What a moment for that young man. Somewhere, I'm sure, maybe on television, Terry McDermott is watching that. He'll be jumping out of his armchair and dancing around the room. And what a sweet strike. Dad would have been proud of that one, Tony, wouldn't he?
Well, the old man was one of the greatest midfield finishes of his era, I think, Terry McDermott. Super finisher for both Newcastle and Liverpool. But he would have been proud of that one. That was driven, struck purely as well. Hardly got off the floor. Great strike, super finish, and they're right back into it. I think Gary Johnson will be so annoyed with his defence in his wall for not getting organised quickly and setting himself up.
Credit to Swindon, though, for some quick thinking. While all that was happening, the goal scorer, Scott Murray's gone off injured. The gash was too bad, and Grant Smith, a former Swindon Town player and a good goal scorer for them, has come on to play against his old club. Is there quite enough happening for you here early on? And by the way, amid all of that, Neil McDermott was booked for celebrating his first ever goal, which seems a bit of a shame to me, that kind of thing, but there you go. Are trying to flick it on. Absolutely frenetic pace, and Bradley Orr kicking himself that he was unable to pick up Steve Brooker's run.
Well, both managers wanted a nice quick tempo for their teams. They've got it. Both have got a goal. Both will be annoyed. One handball that should really have got away, and maybe even the keeper saved it. Maybe Iffy Onuora will feel a bit aggrieved, and then Gary Johnson, I feel, will be a little bit choked with the way his defence organised there at that set piece and really got caught napping by the quick free kick.
This is played long towards Fallon. Good ball too. Journey. Back to Fallon again, looking for the diagonal ball, and the volley is wide of the post in the end from Michael Pook, the 19-year-old.
Just got a little bit headstrong there, took that one in a little bit of a hurry. Was never really there to strike. Probably a touch and a volley, or a half volley, but taking it early had no chance.
I don't think he's going to worry too much about the yellow card. He's going to dream and be winding back the video when he gets home to watch his goal. Neil McDermott, who's on loan from Fulham, by the way, hasn't had a look in there yet, and didn't at Newcastle, where his dad, of course, is on the coaching staff at the moment. Pook Smith's kick in midfield. Dramatic opening here. This is Miglioranzi, the American, into Fallon. Miglioranzi was prevented from continuing with his run. Swindon get another free kick.
Yeah, Miglioranzi tried to play off Fallon and go for the 1-2. Fallon didn't see he'd been checked and obviously tried to play it in his path. Definite foul for me, though. You can see. Definite block. Yeah, definite block.
lost one of their starting lineup, Bristol City.
Well, I suppose with the injury, at a given time to set their wall up and get their defenders right, they won't get caught napping by another quick free kick. Hopefully for Gary Johnson and his boys, but it is another dangerous position. Right side again, just right side of centre, perfect for a right or a left footer. It's that central to goal, and what, we're only 5 yards outside the box.
It looks like Partridge is down there injured. And he's struggling. They want the stretcher.
This is really bad news, isn't it, for Gary Johnson?
Well, he must be wondering what's going to happen next. Gary Johnson, who made a pretty good start as the Bristol City manager, but lately his side have been struggling with those 5 successive defeats. Must have thought things were looking up with that early goal here, but since then Murray's had to go off, and there's a problem here with Partridge.
Strange in that he was the one who was doing the blocking, but he must have really caught one from Miglioranzi, who was going at full pace for the give and go off of Rory Fallon there. So he's the one who's caught it, unfortunately. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to continue.
Well, the Welsh international, who played in the recent game against England and is due on duty against Cyprus next week, looks as if he's going to have to go off here. They do have Matt Hayward back fit again, Bristol City, central defender, another former Swindon player. And he's been yellow carded as well, just to really rub it in.
Just to rub salt in the wounds. But there's no doubt he did block off. Did block off Rory Fallon. He's come off worse. Got a yellow card and stretch it off to boot.
So we've had 2 goals, and Bristol City have had to make 2 substitutions, and we're just coming up to 18 minutes. Now Pook, but it's not him, it's Gurney, and it's close.
Just didn't get down at the last moment. Very difficult to get them up and down in time. To be fair to Basso, he's over there as well. Oh, it was nearly top corner, wasn't it? Good effort from Andy Gurney.
Who scored, by the way, in Swindon's last 2 matches. Andy Gurney, having drawn a blank before that this season. Scored a penalty up at Huddersfield and in the FA Cup draw against Boston last week. Swindon have a replay of that coming up in Lincolnshire on Wednesday. Brown with a scurrying little run forward. It's about 1,000 miles an hour so far, this. I felt hoping to pick up Buatsa, the Parisian who's on loan from Watford and played against Liverpool in the League Cup semis last year. Central midfield area. This is Yuga for Bristol City. Smith biting in with the challenge, taking the place of Steve Jenkins. They had a late problems with him. That's a challenge which maybe pulled up Stefano Miglioranzi over that.
A little bit late, but I think Andy Hall's going to give him the benefit of the doubt. You can see he comes in. It's late. It's over the ball. He's a very lucky man he doesn't get a yellow card.
He's got the Times Ledger from New York here reporting him tonight as well, the American Stefano Miglioranzi. And also a website called BigAppleSoccer.com. They've got something to write about. Not what he wanted, yet anyway.
It is rather hurried at the moment, 20 minutes into the game. It's hard to keep a track with what's been going on. They've really been steaming in. Players from both sides. and it is a ferocious local derby. Good stuff for me, good stuff.
Reflecting as well just how much both sides need something from this game in their currently perilous position down at the bottom of League One. This is Cottrell. Haywood, and that's going to be offside by a country mile. I think we can get an update now on those Bristol City injuries.
Yeah, Dave Partridge has gone off with a heavy knock to his right thigh. The medical team at Bristol City say there is no fracture or no break, and Scott Murray is currently getting stitched in the medical room. The reason he was subbed was Gary Johnson, the manager, was told it would take at least 10 minutes for the stitches. Johnson said that's too long to wait.
Thank you, Fraser. Fraser Robertson reporting. Swindon have a corner kick here.
Right under the keeper's nose. This is where you want that one. Send the big lads forward. Stick it right under the keeper's nose. Nice swirling wind. Make him a little bit unsure. Let's see how he copes.
Played into the danger zone, and Buatsa, it was with a header, couldn't quite get it on target.
You see Basso started to come, but Buatsa comes off of the defender, off of the keeper, and he has to backtrack. Fortunately for him, Buatsa can't get it on the target.
7 attempts on goal already, and we're over a quarter of an hour, or a quarter way, I should say, through this game. Away by Nicholas, but no time to think out there at all. Nicholas's ball is aimed towards Buatsa on that side. He's got it too. Oh, it's a lovely looking ball in. Fallon hadn't continued with his run. McDermott to pull it back again.
That was a great ball from Buatsa. Fallon really should have been anticipating that better. There's only one area he can aim for, between the goalie and the back four. He did it brilliantly. I think Fallon was a little bit caught on his heels.
McDermott finding Smith, who usually plays at left back but has occasionally played at right back. He's had to fill in with about just over an hour's notice tonight. They just had a little problem with Steve Jenkins. Now then, Cottrell, can he get onto that? No, he can't. One in the air by the debutant Mark Joseph, who's just arrived at the club from Hull City. That loan deal going through on his birthday yesterday. Not the greatest clearance, that. This is Miglioranzi towards Buatsa, and Sankofa with the challenge. What's the referee going to do about that? He's off. He's seen that as a red card, and Osei Sankofa can't believe it.
Well, again, that's a big decision. Buatsa comes across him. It's a great run. Well, it's a foul for me. He gets caught by the run, he gets caught by a blind run, and it's a push. There's enough to put Buatsa off, and he was last man. It will seem harsh to the young man, will seem harsh to Gary Johnson, but he got caught napping. The run was across him, he ran away, on his blind side, came across him, he didn't spot him, and then by the time he did spot him, it was too late, and he was in on goal.
What more can go wrong for Bristol City? They've lost 2 players injured, now a man sent off, and Gurney! And it deflected and goes over for a corner kick in this quite astonishing M4 derby here.
Well, Gary Johnson had a game plan at the start. I think it's been slightly put out the window with 2 players being taken off the pitch and 1 sent off. He must be finding it hard to keep a track of it all.
Towards O'Hanlon, the captain. Nicholas. Now O'Hanlon again. Feverish pressure from Swindon Town. It's Andy Nicholas pulling it back. Buatsa was was among those in there looking to cash in. And Bristol City will be, I would say, quite glad to get into half-time, but that's 20 minutes away.
Well, they're on the ropes. They're on the ropes, Ian, and they're really struggling. It's a great time for Swindon to get at them and score. Don't let them settle into their system. Really get at them for the next 10 minutes or so. Well, there's a bit of respite. Andy Hall giving them a free kick in there, but I think Sankofa did get caught out by the run from Buatsa. Once he was caught out by that run, and he was covering round for the centre-backs, it did make him the last man. It didn't really give Andy Hall much of a decision to make. He had to go, I felt.
But you couldn't accuse the referee of being frightened of making decisions tonight. I feel no nonsense from him.
Two big decisions, I feel, Ian. One was made by the linesman on this near side. He said the goal he had came off his line, and that was Heaton for the first penalty. So that wasn't his decision, but he backed his linesman up, as he should do. And I thought it was a little bit harsh, maybe, because, depending on how it goes, some linesmen pull it up and some not. And the sending off was unfortunate, and he had to make it.
Towards Buatsa, whose speed and movement is just giving the Bristol City defence quite a lot to think about.
He is, and it was his run that caught Sankofa really caught napping. Just coming across him, just thinking he was on his outside, and he came across him at the last moment. It was a good ball from Migliorenzi. Really, I think once he was across him, he wasn't trying to barge into his shoulder, it was kind of onto his back, and that's a foul.
Bristol City free kick. They've lifted the siege just for a moment, and that's put in towards the back post, and it only needed a touch. It didn't get it on the end from Haywood. That would have been a story, a goal against his old club.
Well, that's a great chance. He's only got to meet that on the half volley. You can see it's fresh air. He just caught fresh air. He hasn't really got to the pitch of the ball. Difficult chance, but all he had to do was get a nick on it, and that was 2-1.
Spent 4 years at Swindon, Matt Haywood. Just back from injury as well. Keyhole surgery in the knee. I don't think Gary Johnson really wanted him to play a big part tonight because of the recent injury, but he's going to have to play most of the match here now. Here's Gurney invited to shoot, and he's in the mood at the moment as well.
Quite a few shots at goal already, particularly from free kicks. But you're right, he didn't want Haywood to play a lot of the match. He's going to have to play this match and play a big part in the match, because no doubt for me they're going to have a lot of defensive work to do. You see Gary's just left one striker up the pitch now, and Steve Brooker. It's very, very important that he's the out. He can hold the ball up for them.
Ball went out of play before Bradley Orr could get in the cross. He's yet another change, by the way. Orr, he's been playing right back recently, but back in his midfield berth tonight, the former Newcastle player.
That's right, and now back to his right back spot again. All over the place, aren't they?
International weekend, of course, and on Sky Sports 2 tomorrow we'll bring you Scotland against the United States of America. That's on Sky Sports 2 from 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. This is Eiffel. Ball was a bit too long and straight to cause the Bristol City defence any problems, but Bristol City have conceded 22 goals away from home this season, and no side in the country has let in more of the whole 92, so Swindon's hopes of maybe getting another might be quite high. This is Migliorenzi in towards Fallon here. It's Fallon! It's 2-1! Swindon on fire!
That's a great finish. Great finish from Fallon. Pulling it onto his right foot and getting away, but it's made by that man Migliorenzi. Again, it was him who set up the ball for Buatsa to get Sankofa sent off. This time it's another great driving run. Gets beyond the Bristol City midfield. Little ball into Fallon, and this is brilliant. Takes it back onto his right foot and gets the shot away quickly. That's the secret to that one. If he'd have dallied on it, he would have been blocked. But he comes back onto his right foot. Control, bang, that's away. That's a great striker's ball. Goal, and Basso had no chance whatsoever on his near post.
This is 9th goal of the season, Rory Fallon, and his 6th in the last 7.5 games, which is a very good scoring run indeed for a side who are languishing at the foot of the table. What a turnaround from the opening few moments here when Bristol City took the lead. Since then they've lost 2 men injured, had a man red-carded, Sankofa, and now they're 2-1 down. It is the season from hell so far this for Bristol City.
Must admit, Miglioranzi's made some great driving runs here from that midfield area. And when you do get beyond the opposition midfield, then the centre-backs are drawn out position. He did that, they had to make the decision, the centre-backs to come. They came forward slightly, but Fallon with one fell swoop, one touch, took the ball away from the central defenders and fired away with his right foot. It was a great finish and a great driving run from Miglioranzi.
He scored a great goal against Bristol City a couple of seasons ago as well, here in a drawn match between these two, Fallon. He'll be looking for a few more as well. This is Gurney. Smith laying it forward. McDermott down that side.
Well, they've really got their work cut out now, Bristol City and Gary Johnson. Hold on to half-time. Hold on to 2-1. That is, because if there's another goal scored, they'll be out the game. They've got to get to the break, just 2-1 down, regroup, try and get up a little plan to really get out of their own half, maybe in the second half, and try and get some attacking positions themselves.
Not easy with 10 men though, is it? Chasing it away from home.
Not easy at all. And there's a man who's, well, it's a dream for him. He must have thought his world had collapsed when they went 1 down early on, but haven't they come back so well. He's looking cool and calm at the moment.
Brown laying it in. Bristol City are going to need all the character and fight that their new manager is hoping that they will produce. Grant Smith is the player lining it up there, the number 3. Driver here, it just took a little deflection on the way through. Corner kick.
Interesting to see if this was hitting the target. No, it was going wide anyway. It's gone wider with a deflection off the wall.
So the corner was a bit of a result really for Bristol City. Brown's taking that as well. Towards the back post, a bit too long for Hayward, who'd come forward again.
Yeah, that wasn't the best of deliveries. And that's something they've got to take care with now. Because when you are down to 10 men, your way into the game really is from set pieces. It's hard to sustain pressure, keep the opposition penned in their own half when they've got 11 against your 10. So when you have got those set pieces, you've got to take your time, take care, and make those deliveries special, and make them right.
Swindon with only 10 points so far. They're 5 adrift at the bottom of the table, and they've been set a target by Iffy Onuora of getting to around 25 by Christmas. That's the kind of figure he thinks they'll need if they're going to stay afloat in this division. There's work to do, and tonight, so far, they've started doing it. This is Sean O'Hanlon, who was once with David Moyes at Everton. Miglioranzi, who set up that second goal, and that's an interesting looking ball from him as well. He is the creative type, the American. Jack Smith. Tony, for Bristol City is that confidence levels there among the players not high at the moment after the kind of run they've been having.
Well, when you get a goal up, as they did, they must have got a little bit of belief, thinking, oh, we've had a little bit of luck getting the penalty, then missing it and getting a retake and scoring. They must have thought, well, this is going to be our evening. But to be struck back so quickly, and that's what was important, I felt.
Buatsa, can he get that? The decision is a corner kick.
That's what I felt was so important, to strike back quickly for the morale of Swindon, and also really to get at the morale of Bristol City.
It's up towards O'Hanlon, who did get his head to it, but he was doing a spot of climbing as he did so.
He must be a relieved man after giving away that penalty early on. Sean O'Hanlon, needless penalty he gave away. Scored after the second, well, after the retake, but he must be a relieved net man now. The 2-1 in front.
Well, the last time Swindon won a game in League One, it was against Gary Johnson's Yeovil, 4-2. Here he is back here again tonight. Must be something about the county ground, I guess.
Added to that other stat that you said about the unlucky referee for them.
Oh.
It's not making nice pictures, is it?
Well, after what's happened in the first 37 minutes of the game, who's to say what drama there might be in this yet?
What we have had, though, is a good game, haven't we? A good, honest game of football. Both teams going at it. I thought Bristol had a real good start. Pulled some early corners, got their goal, penalty in front. Swindon came back, got their 2 goals, sending off as well. There's a bit of honesty about the game as well. The lads are going into tackles, they're not writhing about on the ground, rolling about, feigning injury. It's a good derby, good game of football. Hard to get your foot on the ball because it's frenzied. There's plenty of passion, plenty of fight out there, plenty of honesty for me.
Certainly no shortage of incident either. Time for everybody to just draw breath for a moment or two.
The first thing Gary will do when he gets into the Bristol City changing room will start counting heads. Who's here, who isn't here? What's been going on out there? It's been so frenzied.
Nicholas. Gurney. And Iffy has gone out of play, and possession rather surrendered a little too meekly by Swindon Town there. Because it was only 12 seasons ago they were playing in the Premiership. You might remember, seem to remember a rather controversial visit here by Eric Cantona, among others, during his Manchester United days. But Swindon sadly went straight back down, conceding 100 goals. It's away by Joseph. For Bristol City. How will they reorganise at half-time? Can they sustain any pressure on Swindon, who want this so badly? You can see by their whole demeanour tonight that it almost hurts.
Gone into an interesting spell, though, the game, Ian, because we said Swindon had to capitalise on Bristol City going down to 10 men, and they did. I think it's gone into that spell now, well, where Swindon think, oh, we've done enough. You know, let's get into the break, and we've done enough. But I think they've still got to keep going for the jugular. Get that 3rd goal, because when you're just 1 up in front, it always gives the opposition a chance. And we're down to 10 men at the moment. Bristol City have got a long way to go. And of course, Swindon hold all the aces.
Or finding it hard to hold on to the ball, Bristol City at the moment. This is Grant Smith getting 1 or 2 boos. the old Swindon player from the fans who once supported him. Gurney has been a good presence to Swindon in midfield. Now Nicholas. Finding a lot of gaps, and that bounces off Buatsa, but wide of the post.
Well, it was nearly an in-off, wasn't it, from Buatsa? Poop with the shot, Buatsa. I think he just couldn't get out of the way. See, he's found very well in the hole, comes off the defenders, gets his shot away. Buatsa, well, he didn't have much time to react, did he?
Here's Yuga. He's just been caught a bit late there. The young man who's on loan from Charlton Athletic. They did allow him to become cup-tied, if you like, last week. He did play for Bristol City in the FA Cup. And they were knocked out of that. In fact, they've been knocked out of all 3 cup competitions at the first time of asking. Things can only get better, you'd think. Up towards Brooker. Buatsa. Basso has already conceded 2 goals on his league debut. Not that you could have blamed him for either of them. It's some night, really, to have to make your league debut as well. McDermott into the danger zone. They really have to do some defending, Bristol City. Haywood it was who got his foot to it, but at the expense of a corner.
Great ball, wasn't it, from McDermott? He had to hit it first time, just a fraction too hard for his strikers, but it was a great ball into a real great area, and Haywood ended up defending it very well.
Playing with a real high tempo here, Swindon Town as well. This time the goalkeeper Basso grabs it. Did play 26 times for Woking in the conference last season. Adriano Basso. Brown. Oh, it was a cracker. It was a cracker.
Did strike it well, didn't he? Lovely little exchange of passes, gets it, one touch. Nice touch out of his feet, great strike. See, that ball was moving all over the place. Look at it, it's wobbling in the air. I think Heaton's happy to see it go over the top.
He's only 20, a tigerish buzzsaw of a player, Scott Brown, who was unable to make the breakthrough at Everton, but certainly making a few inroads at Bristol City, where they regard him highly. Fallon. Nicholas's header forward. Nobody almost daring to take more than one touch, or at the most 2 on the ball at the moment. Brooker. It's going to be too long for Brown, and Jack Smith is able to get it away. It's going to be 3 minutes of added time here.
Well, where did that 45 minutes go? That has absolutely flown past, hasn't it? 3 minutes of added time to go. But what a half of football.
Enjoyable for the neutrals, but painful again for Bristol City fans, this to watch. Yuga. Brown took a punt. Cottrell might be able to get on the end of that, but Andy Nicholas, the youngster is formerly on Liverpool's books, just letting it go out of play. Of course, a lot of these youngsters who are with Premiership teams these days do have to go down the divisions often to get a chance.
Well, it's the same with Sankofa, isn't it? Getting a chance, but as the harsh realities are coming down to this football, making a mistake like that, just caught napping and getting sent off in the process. But it's a great learning curve going down the divisions, and I think far better to go down the divisions on loan than play reserve team football for me. It does get you vital experience.
Miglioranzi. This has fallen for McDermott, who's really enjoying himself out there, looking to pick up Michael Pook's run. And the corner kick rather needlessly given away.
Just coming up to the break, we got a minute to go. This really would be a killer blow if Swindon were to score from this corner kick.
Well, Yuga could have easily put that for a throw, it looked like. Instead they've got a defender. Corner kick, it's come out to Gurney, it's driven low. Bristol City again on the back foot. Smith pulling it back. O'Hanlon had come forward from the back. Swindon looking for their first league win since August the 27th, remember. McDermott's little chip forward. Cottrell back in the left back position. That's how hard Bristol City are having to work just to keep the margin at 1 goal going into the break, which is very important from their point of view. Nicholas does well. McDermott. Buatsa in space on the volley, did terrifically well. It was a very good block by Hayward and an important one, and that was the last action of an all-action first half. Rory Fallon's goal is the difference. He made it 2-1. Big decisions by referee Andy Hall. First of all, giving a penalty to Bristol City early. Twice taken, it had been saved by Colin Heaton. Second time Murray put it away, but then Murray went off injured. They lost Partridge as well, and Swindon have come back against 10 men. Sankofa sent off, and it's after all that, Swindon Town 2, Bristol City 1 at half-time. And you wonder what next here. Certainly great entertainment for the families who've come along tonight, and they've got a nice touch here. Children under 7 come free. That's something that quite a few of the league tops are trying these days, and thoroughly to be applauded in my view. They'll have a bit to tell their schoolmates about on Monday morning. Swindon 2, Bristol City 1 here, and remember that Bristol City are down to 10 men after the sending off of Osai Sankofa in the first half. How can they reorganise? Can they ask some questions in this second half? Swindon, by the way, haven't had a home win over Bristol City for 7 years, and among the scorers for them that night was one Iffy Onuora, now the manager of Swindon Town. I think Swindon finished with 9 men on that occasion.
I'd like to have been a fly on the wall for the half-time team talks from both managers. I don't know where Gary's going to, obviously he's still got to try and get a result out of this with 10 men, try and get his boys knocking the ball about, because that's what they're good at. Play at their beliefs. Try and get some decent ball up to Brooker up front and try and get in support of him. It's hard when your number's short. I think Iffy Onuora will want his team to keep attacking. Try and kill this game off now. Try and get that other goal, that 3-1. Give it a 2-goal cushion. Because, you know, the longer it goes on and it's 2-1 for Swindon, they haven't been in a winning situation for a long, long time, and they begin to have a a little bit of doubts, and they may sit back and invite Bristol City on.
Of course, Gary Johnson knows all about Rory Fallon, who scored that good second goal for Swindon. He had him on loan at Yeovil last year, and Fallon it is going after that one, beaten in the air by Haywood. Once again, Fallon and Heather, good battle between those two. O'Hanlon's long ball, and that bounces around dangerously. Fallon's on the chase, and in the end, Basso, the goalkeeper, is out quickly to mop up the danger. Swindon, remarkably for a team who are bottom of the table, have scored in each and every one of their home matches this season. He's a good goal scorer himself, wasn't he, Tony?
Good player, good strong player. It's nice to see a player just finishing his career, really getting a chance. Let's hope he can make the most of it. Got a good young staff with him in Alan Reeves and Ian Wone as well.
Miglioranzi pulling it back. He had Buatsa in quite a lot of space, actually, if he'd really pulled it back. His long throw. Hanlon coming forward from the back at every opportunity to supplement the attacks. Gerald Eiffel was caught late there by Scott Brown. The ever-lurking Buatsa. They are playing with two up. One or two recent games, Swindon have played a 4-1-4-1 formation, but it's worked for them away from home. Good draws for them at Huddersfield and at Brentford, and at home to Scunthorpe as well are up there. They've got to start winning, though.
I've got to start winning, and it was a big game tonight for both clubs. Bristol City could have pulled themselves up a nice few places with 3 points. And Swindon just need to get back into that pack, make the other clubs in and around them start to feel the pressure of them getting closer.
Fallon's flick on. No problems this time. Sure where that was dropping. Grant Smith was dropping in behind. It was as well that Eiffel was there, the central defender. Sent off a couple of times this season, Gerald Eiffel, and 4 times in all in his career as well. Product of the Watford Academy when he was a shade younger, still only 23. Bradley Orr, knocked back by Brooker. Brown was going for the return pass. Grant Smith against his old club, looking for something. It was the right idea.
But didn't quite catch it, did he? But that's better. Look, in support of the striker, you can see it eventually comes down to Grant Smith, fires through the legs of the defender. It's a good save by Heaton, but he just quite didn't catch that one.
Grant Smith was the second top scorer for Swindon last season when they finished in mid-table. Bristol City, of course, have been very unlucky not to get promoted in recent years. They finished 3rd, 5th and 7th in this division without going up. This is Gurney from range. Needs no second invitation to shoot, Andy Gurney.
I think that's about 8 shots he's had in the game, hasn't it? There's no, doesn't have any second thoughts. He just lines himself up, kind of ignores everyone around him. Has a go at goal.
This is Mark Joseph, who was in Hull's promotion-winning side last season. Bristol City unable to really hold on to possession. Difficult for them. Down to 10 men, their plans have been thrown into utter chaos by the developments here. They've lost Partridge injured, they've lost Murray injured, they've lost Sankofa sent off.
Well, there you go. Tells the story. 11 shots, 5 for Bristol City. 11 for Swindon, 5 for Bristol City. It's been a game full of attempts at goal. Just the 4 and the 3 on target, respectively. But I think it's been a very, very good game of football.
And there may be more to come here. Thrown up into the melting pot. Hoping that Brooker can make something of it. Cottrell. He was working hard to get an angle for a shot, but couldn't quite do it in the end, the 17-year-old.
There's no chance really of beating Heaton on the near post as he's going away from goal. He's trying, somehow he's got to get that back across goal. He's got his work cut out, he's being tracked by defenders. But you've got to get it back across goal, back across the bodies, and it may sneak in. But if the pace of this game dies, I think it will suit Bristol City more. They are the more controlled side. And if that pace dies and Swindon allows it to die, then it will bring Bristol in the game and they will be able to get support of their striker, Brooker up front, who's been isolated a bit.
It's going to be out of play. Well, I bet Willie Carson's enjoying this, of course, in his riding career as a top jockey. Many's the time that he was able to produce a bit of a storming finish, having been behind in the early stages, Derby winning jockey and all that. I hope that Swindon could do something similar this season. We've got plenty of work to do, that's for certain.
Be nice for him to get in the winning enclosure, wouldn't it, for a change? Because there's been tough times for Swindon, but what a win would give to them and their supporters.
There was a mistake there, and Buatsa nearly got on the end of it, and Hayward was very, very relieved. Smith with the header. 3 lone players in that Bristol City defence, the starting one anyway. Tonight they've lost one of them, Sankofa of course. Cottrell now. Away by Andy Nicholas.
Hasn't had much chance, has he, Cottrell, to run at defenders this evening. Very good things about him, and you can see when he does get the ball, he is a player with a lot of promise. Tonight he hasn't really had the chance to get going and get running at defenders.
Buatsa, about 5 Bristol City players around him, and Orr might be in a spot of bother for that challenge. No yellow though, not this time. Nicholas to kind of fetch the ball from behind him really, but he's made something of it and got across him as well, or cuts it out for Bristol City, who started this season as second favourites to win League One, and now they're third to bottom and trailing here tonight. It's a big job for Gary Johnson to do. I know he's been a bit frustrated, and I'm sure you're going to see a lot of transfer activity involving this club come January.
Well, I can assure you he'll get it right, Ian. I don't think he'll rest till he does get it right. He's got a difficult job on his hands at Bristol City, but I think he is the man for the job. He'll get them playing some good, fast football, and introduce more legs into this team, I feel. Good manager, Gary, and has good, strong beliefs about his football. and he'll get this club going again.
And he's got a great record, of course. 2 promotions with Yeovil. The latest in his line of achievements. Of course, he was the manager of Latvia as well, wasn't he? An international manager too.
I was over there the day he was appointed. I couldn't believe it when I bumped into him, because I was reporting on Chelsea playing Skonto Riga in the Champions League qualification, and Gary was appointed that day. I thought, what are you doing here? I said to him. He said, oh, I've just been appointed manager. It's a great experience, great learning curve for him over there.
It must be his lucky omen or something, Tony.
Not tonight.
No, not tonight, no. I have to say, the way things are set up here, a point would now be a great result for Bristol City, down to 10 men, if they could somewhere, somehow, sneak an equaliser here. Because it just could be, couldn't it, too, that Swindon's confidence is a little fragile, and their self-belief. You sometimes find, Tony, with teams down at the bottom, that they kind of have forgotten how to win.
That is the case, and I think that this second half started perfectly for Bristol City, that is. Swindon had lost the impetus. They need to get going back at Bristol City again, and just the way that the second half started, I think will suit Bristol City more than Swindon.
Smith with the header. It's come out to Russell on the volley. Forward by Joseph. Of course, when this season started, Bristol City, it was a lot of rave reviews, weren't they? Because they signed Michael Bridges, former Premiership star, and Marcus Stewart. Well, Stewart's on the bench tonight, and Bridges is injured because he fell over his dog recently, apparently. So nothing much going right for him after all his injury problems in his career. This is Brooker on the turn.
Well, Eiffel did well. He was nice and tight. If they can get the ball into Brooker there, you only need a half turn and a shot, as he did, just to go through the legs of the defender. But Eiffel was touch tight, and it was a good piece of defending.
Nicholas, big rangy left back. He's done well tonight. Pook making a run down that side. It's been lively, the 19-year-old. He's a Swindon boy, Michael Pook, and he's been ever present in the league this season.
Well, Gurney holding in midfield does allow that midfield free, and they've done it well tonight, especially when the numbers have been in their favour. McDermott, Miglioranzi and Pook to bomb on forward and try and support those strikers. They've done it well tonight.
Miglioranzi trying to help it on. Hayward able to get it back. This night in a hurry, is he? Adriano Basso, the goalkeeper, making his league debut tonight. Almost the first thing he had to do was pick the ball out of the back of the net with Neil McDermott's first ever senior goal. Buatsa. Still could be something doing. It's Gurney, who's been a real live wire in that midfield. Miglioranzi adding the craft and creativity. Again, bustled off it, free kick Swindon.
Good pressing, though they're a man down. Bristol really pressing the ball, encouraging Swindon to pass it, and then pressing in on midfield.
Bit of cramp by the look of it for Miglioranzi, player who has played at a higher level to this in his days with Portsmouth.
A good first half. I was particularly impressed with those driving runs. One of them create the goal, and the sending off.
Iffy Onuora would have no complaints about the passion his side have produced for him tonight. Hugo has given away the corner kick here, and what Swindon would give for the insurance policy wrapped up in a third goal here. Smith's corner kick is well claimed in the end by the Brazilian keeper. Doesn't speak too much English. Buatsa, oh, he really got hold of that too. Or trying to curl in one behind for Cottrell. He did that nicely as well, and that will be a corner off, I thought.
These set pieces sometimes represent your best chance when you're down to 10 men. Get that delivery right, give the big boys something to attack in the area. If Hayward's up, he'll attack it if it's put on offer.
Well, he is up there as well, as is Joseph. It was Mickey Aranzi who got his head to it. Not away yet, though. It's a disappointment in the end. There's Willie. He seemed a little bit evasive, didn't he? But before the match, when he was asked whether there'd be any money to strengthen the side in the next few months.
Sounded as if he was skint to me, Ian.
Fallon on the chase here. And he was just caught there. The referee says no penalty. It was inside the area. Yuga was the challenger, but it did look accidental.
It looked like a complete accident, and as you can see Andy Hall saying it was a crossover and a complete accident. Fallon struggling to get onto the ball, you can see he was clipped, and it was even outside the area, and in the end he couldn't hold his balance. I don't think he died. You can see his clip there. It was outside the area. I think it's a correct decision from the referee.
Yeah, good decision that. That would have been daft, really, if that had been a penalty. It looked like handball by Brooker, but again, I think the decision was not intentional. Pook inside to Gurney, a miscue from him this time. The wind really is getting up here now. Cottrell. And the wind now sweeping down the pitch, and the rain as well. It's the conditions out there are a bit like the deck of an Atlantic trawler at the moment.
Horrible conditions. But there Cottrell had a real good chance. He got in advance of Brooker, and I think he should have drove at the last man. Just hesitated, got the foul in the end, but I really think he should have drove at that last man.
Well, this might be set up for the left foot of Grant Smith, who hasn't had too much of a look in for Bristol City lately. Russell's there as well, and the goalkeeper Hanlon had to be a little bit sharp.
Done well, he's on his toes. Looked like Smith was going to address it, and he was on his toes.
Pook. Does have a cracking shot on him, Michael Pook. Not that time, though.
Well, the weather's awful now, and the Bristol City fans are in the uncovered end. Horrible as the rain's driving in on them.
Bristol City, with their 10 men, are playing into the teeth of the gale as well here now. Singing in the rain. Well, some of them anyway. They'll be glad it's only a half-hour journey back down the motorway. Of the hand really by McDermott. Referee said no. Absolutely mad.
I was going to say, brave or stupid. If you're going to get wet, why not?
Well, they haven't had much, have they, to sing and shout about this season, the Bristol City fans. All credit to them. Here they are on a wet, windy night supporting their team, and things not going their way again. moves it forward. Eiffel gets it away.
Not only have they got 10 men, but they're into the teeth of the wind as well. And look at Gary's trousers. They're nice and wet as well, aren't they?
He's trying to think of a way, I'm sure, through the problems they've got out there. It's a funny thing, Tony, you know, I'm sure Bristol City would think if they could come through this somehow tonight and get a point, it would be something of a turning point. There's going to be a booking here against this old club for Grant Smith.
He's just a little bit late with the challenge, but I don't think it was so much that. I think he had a little bit of verbal to say to the referee. The referee gestured, you've got to keep your mouth shut. That's a yellow card you can do without. But yes, Ian, you're right. If they can get a point out of this, it'd be a magnificent point.
They've got 3 out of their next 4 at home after this, Bristol City, but all games are looking at the moment. They've got Chesterfield, Bradford and Huddersfield at home, and a trip to Doncaster, sandwiched somewhere in between. Migliaranzi just hoping somebody is going to break in behind it. Any ball hit straight down the pitch is going to just travel straight to the goalkeeper, such as the wind. It's going to have to be something diagonal. That's an offside flag.
And you can see that Swindon are having their doubts, self-doubts. We said it before, you know, it becomes a thing in your mind when you haven't won. You just don't know how to win in the end, and they're sitting back now. Bristol City coming more and more into it.
Oh, Brooker nearly got on the back of that. O'Hanlon was glad to hack it away. The other thing is, Swindon have been playing at such an intense pace, such a ferocious pace, that you just wonder whether they can maintain that as well, even against 10 men.
That pace of the game was ferocious in the first half.
Hugo, he might drop for him. No, the goalkeeper very quickly out. Buatsa. Challenge was by Russell, who may be booked for that. The referee will want the play pulled back. He hadn't completed his administrative duties.
Buatsa had got away with him, and he just had a little nibble at him, you could see. He didn't want Buatsa to get away on a run down that right flank. And he gets a yellow card.
He's only played 12 minutes before this season because of injury, recovering from a knee operation, Alex Russell. Into the danger zone, away with difficulty. Jack Smith. Good little ball inside there, deflected by Gurney. Anything that, by way of a shot from that kind of area, is really going to travel like a tracer bullet with this wind behind it. Cottrell. Free kick, Bristol City. Substitution. It will have to be their last, Bristol City, and they're going to take off Bradley Orr by the look of things and bring on Marcus Stewart, the striker who has scored 4 times since his move to Bristol City. Player, of course, who was second only to Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank in the Premiership scoring charts a few seasons back. So far, not really in his top form since the move to Ashton Gate. But maybe tonight he can come up with something for them.
Well, he'll need to, most certainly. And if he does get a chance in front of goal, he is a cool finisher, Marcus Stewart.
A reminder of football coming up on Sky Sports. Sky Sports 1 on Sunday. We'll have Stockport against Barnet for you. And then Sunday at 3:30, again from this area of League One, it's Blackpool and Scunthorpe. Colin Hendry losing his job as the Blackpool boss by the look of things. Booth coming off, and on comes another former Swindon, Bristol City player, I should say, Christian Roberts, play on the left-hand side of that midfield. A bit like friends reunited tonight out there.
Plenty of locals. That's an offensive move though, Roberts coming on. I think he'll try and stay high up the park. Try and play three up there, try and keep Bristol City penned back in their half, because they are making inroads into Swindon. And also, although Swindon have had this real stiff breeze in their favour in the second half, I think that Bristol City have done very well with 10 men to get in that half and keep possession and try and gain a few fouls and set pieces like this to try and get themselves back in the game.
And they are playing now with more players pushed forward, and Marcus Stewart on there. That's flicked off the head of Roberts for a corner kick. That was his first involvement. Different mood here now, and you can sense the anxiety among the fans as well. It's headed by Fallon out of his goalkeeper's hands nearly. And that's going to be easy for the keeper. Just look at the way that ball travels, and Buatsa very nearly took that out of the skies.
Well, if he'd have took that one out of the sky, coming over his shoulder about 100 foot in the air, I think this would have been a piece of pure genius. So difficult, it was always getting away from him. Basso did the right thing, he didn't commit himself, he stayed back on that line, waiting to see what the first touch brought.
Swindon have to keep their nerve now. Stewart was breaking in behind, but the players pulled back with a Swindon player down injured. It'll be Miglioranzi down there.
Iffy Onuora downstairs with Alan Reeves, his assistant manager. Just try and sort a few things out. They desperately need this win. Desperately need this win. They've got themselves in a great position now. Bristol City down to 10 men. They're 2-1 up. They desperately need it.
Alan Reeves, who broke his leg earlier this season, that ended his playing career, but is now Iffy Onuora's number 2 on the new management team here after the departure of Andy King earlier this season. Miglioranzi is still down. Player who was born in Brazil, raised in the United States, and has an Italian passport, Stefani Miglioranzi. Told he speaks a few languages as well. Certainly articulate enough on the football pitch and setting up that second goal tonight. Russell is going to swing this ball in. Flicked on towards the back post. They were hoping Cottrell might get there. He didn't. Miglioranzi's ready to come back on if the referee sees him, which is now. Oh, strange. That could have gone anywhere off Yuga's foot.
Crowd are claiming a back
in the back of the net.
And the crowd are claiming a back pass.
If that was deliberate, he's a genius. It's another episode of Gone with the Wind, isn't it, at the moment?
Oh, when the ball's up in the air, and particularly from the keeper, Heaton, he just sticks it up in the air, puts some height on it, really moving all over the place. Very, very difficult for defenders under the flight of the ball to to judge it, get their headers and their volleys away.
Gurney's up and under towards Fallon, who's been kept pretty quiet in this second half. Brooker, that's a good ball. Marcus Stewart!
That was a good ball by Brooker with the outside of his foot. Found Marcus Stewart, and I thought he should have drove into the area. It's a great ball with the outside of his foot. He doesn't have to break stride. Defender backs off. Sean O'Hanlon, and he really could have gone on a couple of yards before getting his shot away.
Stewart, who scored 17 as Sunderland moved up into the Premiership and gained promotion last season. Hugo's ball forward to Brooker, who's becoming more into it now. Cottrell. Decent effort in the second half from 10-man Bristol City, and here's Brooker. It's a bit wide. Good challenge by Eiffel. Brooker's got it again. It's another Bristol City corner.
Much better stuff. Much better stuff. They're starting to believe themselves, Ian, aren't they? Cottrell getting in the game. Brooker's had a couple of nice touches there. They're really believing they can get back in it.
Here's the corner kick. It was cleared by Rory Fallon almost from underneath his own crossbar. Swindon getting a tad desperate, but there might be something for them on the break if they're quick. Miglioranzi into the channel for McDermott to chase. And very well tracked back by Scott Brown.
Good chase by the pair of them, wasn't it? Great little chase. Loads of aggression from Scott Brown as he cleared away for a throw-in.
Jack Smith. We understand that Miglioranzi will be coming off in a moment. Good little touch from there though. And Jack Smith, I'm not sure he meant that, but it was certainly heading towards goal and at some pace.
It's actually a poor cross. He's got in that good position. He's got to curve that round. He tries to drive it. He's called it off the outside of his foot, but he doesn't catch Basso out.
Held it up well. Well, they've almost forgotten what it was like to see their side win in League One, the Swindon fans, all the way back to that win over Gary Johnson's Yeovil 4-2 back on August the 27th. Their only other win in 16 matches before this season in the league anyway was against Nottingham Forest very early in the season as well. Are they going to make this change or not, Swindon? They were planning to make the substitution, but for the moment it seems to be held up. They're just still discussing things. We'll keep you posted. Bristol City get the free kick. It's tense here now, Tony, for the home fans.
It is tense stuff. It's tense down on that touchline as well. They're so close, touching distance to 3 points.
Grant Smith, good-looking ball in towards Brooker, and that was bouncing up dangerously, and the teenage goalkeeper Heaton had to be sharp.
He actually headed it too far into the floor. I don't think he thought it was coming through to him. Proved difficult for the keeper, and he does well to touch it over the top, Heaton.
Smith again with another good-looking delivery. Hayward was in there. Swindon survive again, and always there are these breaks. This one led by Christian Roberts. In towards Boasu. It was a lovely ball from Roberts, it really was.
Just a slight touch from the defender, Joseph, on that. Just took it out the path for Roberts as he tried to get his first touch in.
There's Roberts again. Won't be able to catch that one though. Jack Smith, who's missed 4 games shooting with a groin injury, being substituted here. And Steve Jenkins, who was due to be in the starting lineup tonight, but in the end, after a late switch, was put on the bench. He comes on here, the well-travelled fullback, experienced campaigner, and Welsh international, of course, Steve Jenkins in the past. Header away. Cottrell, nice spin. Migliaranzi to Gurney. Now Roberts again. Sold to Swindon by Brian Tinian last year for £20,000. Referee wants that taken back a yard or two. Pushing a lot of men forward now, Bristol City. You get to play it in there. Stewart on the chase. It's a forlorn one, and it is. The goalkeeper's made a pretty good impression since arriving on loan from Manchester United. Colin Heaton. He does half a week up at the Carrington complex with the Manchester United players, with Edwin van der Sar and Tim Howard under Tony Coton's tutelage. And then in the last 2 or 3 days before every game, he comes down and works at Swindon with the goalkeeping coach here, Fraser Digby. Russell helping this one forward. Eifel's missed his kick here in a dangerous position. This has fallen to Brooker. Brown had got in behind for a moment there. Foul on McDermott. That'll take the pressure off for Swindon. Will take their time over these free kicks now.
Well, he wouldn't come down, would it? You can see he's trying to get his volley away. Look, won't come down. There's no foul from Eiffel. He's just tracking back.
Somebody's going to have to show a bit of devil and menace now for Bristol City if they're going to salvage something from this. Otherwise, it's going to be 6 successive defeats for them.
Well, if it does end in defeat, I think Gary can take out a bit of good second half performance from his side. Although they've been down to 10 men, they have played it around better. They've competed better. I think we can take that from this second half show.
O'Hanlon got himself in a bit of a mess there, but he was bailed out in the end. Now then, Grant Smith, can he find a cross there with that good left foot of his? As Steve Jenkins fighting in with the challenge.
It's a good tackle, but it's another corner to come into the area. They need to get a winner on the end of this.
Smith with another ball in there. Again, Hayward attacking it. Again, Swindon breathe again at the end of it all. Few nails being chewed among those Swindon supporters at the moment. We've seen a fair few things, certainly the older fans. Remember Swindon winning the League Cup in 1969 against Arsenal when they were a third-tier side, as they are now, Don Rogers and all that. The odyssey in the Premiership, and since then, financial problems, winding up orders that they've survived, and now a relegation battle on their hands. Swindon may be preparing another substitution here, possibly just to wind down the clock a little bit more. I think it's going to be Neil McDermott who comes off, but it's a night he will remember as long as he plays the game. The night he scored his first ever goal, Terry McDermott's son. Good goal it was too.
Great strike, wasn't it? Struck it really purely across the keeper, who had no chance. Basso. Nice quick free kick was taken, and it was a great strike across the keeper.
Charlie Comyn-Platt, a central defender who arrived from Bolton in the summer, he came on last week and scored a dramatic equaliser in the FA Cup against Boston as an emergency striker. I think he'll be mainly doing his defensive duties, you'd think, anyway, tonight. It's not an emergency striker they really need at the moment. Smith, Grant Smith here. And there's an offside flag up. They're staggering towards the finish line, Swindon here.
They are, aren't they? That was a shame. Russell had just gone into an offside position. Smith was trying to turn himself and just turned into his own player. It's been a nervy second half for Swindon. Really nervy second half. They're almost there.
This has fallen for Roberts over on that side, if he can keep it in, which he does. Forward by Andy Nicholas. Now Steve Brooker, one of the last chances for Bristol City, you'd think. Cottrell. Turning, twisting, couldn't get his shot away. Good challenge by the reliable O'Hanlon. Swindon will stay even with a win, but they'll move a little closer to the sides just above them. And one of those sides is, of course, Bristol City. Done the job yet, though.
They're not over the line yet, and they have to see it out. Just keep this throw in, just push it down the line and try and play in the corner. Turn Bristol City down and try and get them in their own half.
Good noise from the Swindon fans, and a bit of a sense of relief as well. Roberts. You could see what he was trying to do. It was Gurney, in fact, who had made that little diagonal run. There's going to be 4 minutes of added time. That will lift Bristol City, I should think. Roberts. Tonight, all his plans were thrown into disarray by the sending off and the injuries of the first half. And that after Bristol City had stolen the lead as well early on with a twice taken Scott Murray penalty.
There's not a lot he could have done about it. I think what he did do at half-time was obviously organise his team and got them out to come have a good second half and a good run at Swindon. They've really frightened them and been the better side in the second half, but it looks like Swindon are going to gain all 3 points, just edge closer to the pack.
Crottrell to Brooker. Eiffel still strong and fit, doing the covering. Concentration important now in the Swindon ranks. Nearly 4 months without a win in League One. Is it going to be a first ever win as a manager, league win anyway, for Iffy Onuora? Probably can barely stand to watch it at the moment. That will help. Swindon scores though.
2 minutes to go on the clock, and I think they'll just try and keep it in the corner. Won't try and get any crosses in. Try and get the ball back to the thrower, Christian Robertson. Try and keep it in that corner.
Can they successfully do that though? Halfway through, just over halfway through the allotted added time. Gurney's header forward. Yuga gets it away, not very far. Buatsa's cross. Jenkins. O'Hanlon looking for the corner wisely, using a bit of experience there, and Yuga. This will do Swindon Town just fine. It'll do wonders too for the nerves of their supporters with the ball at this end of the ground and not the other.
Well, that should just about be it. Yuga tried to nip round the striker, trying to get it in front and misheaded away for a corner. And I think this should just about see the clock down, that run down, keep the ball in the corner.
Jenkins and Gurney keeping it down there, using their experience to the older, wiser heads in the Swindon ranks. Jenkins. Just about there now, referee looking at his watch. Bristol City can't get out, now they'll have a chance to, but we've had the 4 minutes. It is all over, and so is Swindon's nightmare run in League One. Their first win since August the 27th, Iffy Onuora's first league win as a manager. And they've beaten their local rivals Bristol City here by 2 goals to 1 in an incident-packed match here at the county ground.
Big 3 points that for Swindon Town, Iffy Onuora's first league win as a manager. It still doesn't take them off the bottom though, but it does help. 13 points Swindon now, close the gap to 2 points on the MK Dons, and they're just 3 points behind their rivals Bristol City after that match. The first of the weekend, of course, will change tomorrow.